a university higher learning is necessarily a bad thing. I think that we have a different if you were to go back to like say turn of the century, or you go back to the 20s or the 30s or the 40s or 50s or whatever, people were going, to learn, a trade for sure, or to learn whatever their major was, of course. But it was also, universities were established so that people would be like, we didn't want dumbasses. That's why we used to have public education, because we wanted an educated population to some degree. To
some degree, enough, for the factories.
We used to, not anymore.
But have you heard the whole original story about college? College was basically an IQ test.
Oh yeah.
To get so it's like I remember teachers telling me this even in high school back in the day, which I think they were already like telling me old information even then. But basically, you get into college, you were guaranteed $100,000 job, $100,000 like kind of job in any degree. What a bunch! Oh my! I cannot believe I had teachers telling that to my fucking face. Like basically, you get a bachelor's degree, Miguel. $100,000. You can basically get a job anywhere and get that really what it was back in the 80s, 70s, 60s, 50s, because you had a large swath of the population that didn't have a college degree. So having any type of college degree kind of puts you like, no, this guy's pretty smart.
Yeah. I'll tell you here's another story. When I was working towards my degree, part of the general ed stuff, not even from like my major, I had to take what were called capstone classes. Like they are capstone classes. You also have a humanities requirement. So there's certain classes you have to take in order for you to get the units for your general ed, so that you could actually get a degree in whatever the hell it is you're specializing in, right? So as a result, like because I had that crazy schedule, like I was working 40 to sometimes 50 hours a week and all that other stuff, I had to take whatever I could that would like meet the most requirements.
Right.
So I remember I actually took women in literature as one of my because it was a gender studies requirement for the capstone requirement. Well, I didn't have to take that. It just happened to be the one that I could take because it fit my schedule.
Yeah.
So it made that one course, Women in Literature, covered humanities, a capstone, and then there was something else that I can't remember. Maybe in English or something like that. So it covered like 3 requirements, and it was like a 3-unit or 4-unit class. I'm like, yeah, I can kill all these 3 birds with one stone. Women in lit. Yeah, okay, I think I can do
Women
that.
in lit.
I'm one. I was one of 2 guys in that class, and the other dude, I was the only heterosexual in that class. So like when I was there, it was fascinating to me because I was doing posts on So Suave at the same time I was there.
Wait. So you were doing the So Suave stuff during that time?
While I was in college. Yeah, so okay. I'm having these conversations, and I would use like conversations that we would have, and I bring them up because they encourage discussion and everything, and I'm the only one that had any kind of pushback for the ladies and stuff. And it was fascinating because to me it's sort of like know your enemy, right? Understand like what the other side is saying, kind of thing. So when people say, oh well, Rollo, you don't know anything about feminism, no, dude, I know. Trust me, I took the classes. I've been there. I put my money where my mouth is. But here's the real interesting thing. So humanities, capstone, and like an English requirement or something like that. And then, diversity. That's what it was. There was a diversity requirement, right? So humanities, diversity, and a capstone requirement all in one class. The only other class that would satisfy those same 3 was Holocaust studies. That
shout out to the tribe.
And I will tell you what kills me is that so women in lit and that's in the university system, in their eyes, in their estimation, women in lit is on par with the Holocaust in World War II. Yeah. Really? It didn't dawn on me until I was halfway through the class, and I go, man, the only thing that's comparable to this is Holocaust studies. That's what you got. That's what the university thinks. And that was like sort of my first inclination as to like what was going on in the university system at that time. Yeah. And I was like, damn. And by the way, so that was one education that I got. The other thing is I had another one, and I had to do another class that was similar to that. I think it was like humanities and like and a capstone class as well. The other one I took was Chinese history. So you understood from like dynastic China all the way up to Mao Zedong, and then up to where they're at right now. And again, it's one of those things like, well, why do I need to know this? I'm never going to need this in anything. I'm glad I took that class.
That one came in clutch.
Very, very glad that I took that class, because now I can speak knowledgeably about like, the People's Revolution in China during like the 50s or 60s. and and the little red books and all
Yeah.
the stuff that was going on at that time. And I was like, I'm glad I took that class. It paid off later on. At the time, you're like, my God, this is useless information. I'll do it. Give me the credit, right? But that's what I was talking about when I was saying about like university, to be able to speak knowledgeably on a great many topics. Like one of the reasons I'm able to do what I do is because I had that sort of breadth of understanding of a lot of different things. I took
Kind of a forced studies, but it made you more well-rounded.
My focus of study in psychology was behaviorism, right? Because they didn't really offer evolutionary psychology, and not at UNR at that time. But I probably would have took it if they had it. But then, of course, now it's really super popular and everybody wants to study, and you want to get a doctorate in it. But back then you didn't. But like, because I was taking behaviorism, I took classes that I am very glad I took now. One of them was like based on memory, like the differences in different kinds of memory. And that applied to other things later on down the road when I was talking about evolutionary psychology as well. So I think there is like a good, well-rounded